Hi everyone, good morning. Peter Liciaga here, and it's probably early for a couple of you guys. I know that many of you guys are running your errands, getting your kids off to school, but I wanted to go live now because I have a busy, crazy busy schedule today. A lot to has to be accomplished today. So I wanted to share this today simply because I have a book out. You guys, some of you might know this. I have a book that I wrote, put together, called it's called Black Belt Strong: A Parent's Guide to Martial Arts. And I wrote that, and I wanted to tell you why I wrote this book. And so before we get started, let me go ahead and just type in the comment section here how you guys can actually get this book. Let me see if I can get this in real quickly before. I hope you guys are doing great. Oop, that's not the code I want in there. And so let me make sure it's here. It's right on the screen. And on the screen of your watches, DonatoKarate.com. Let me type this in real quickly, guys. Bear with me here. Parents Guide. Okay, you can go there. Or if you want to just connect with me through texting, you can ask me questions, or I can send you the link very quickly, 856-278-5282. But I really wanted to talk about why I put this book together, and there's a lot behind this, and it's a book, but it's actually a guide, a book. But I wanted to make it easy and simple, and I wanted to take a little bit of time and give you the reason why I put this together. First of all, let me just share with you all these books that I have. I'm a martial artist. I'm a geek, and not only am I a geek when it comes to martial arts, but I also, I think everyone should be training in martial arts. I really do. I'm biased. I know that. But there's a big reason why. And I share that over the last several months. I've been really sharing my story, where I came from, how I grew up in the Bronx, coming through the gangs and the violence and the abuse of that, and then getting out of the city, and then moving down to Florida, building from there, being in construction, becoming a ballet dancer, then going to New York, and then, all that time still doing martial arts training in different schools under different teachers, finally earning a black belt and getting different degrees in that, here and there. I'm a melting pot of martial arts systems until back in 1999 that I got together with Master Donato at Donato Karate Center, and then from that point on I was just hardcore Tang Soo Do, and then throwing in some other systems in there, modern Arnis and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and a couple of other things. I'm actually a melting pot, just like we Americans, most of us Americans are a melting pot of all these different systems, and that's what it is. So because of that, and I'm a geek, I have all these books of martial arts, all these books here, from Tang Soo Do to great books here, and going through them. They're very technical. If you want to be a geek in martial arts, there's so many books. There's thousands and thousands of books that you can get. Okay, and we have here. I have one book here that actually it's totally destroyed, that I had to actually put it in here. These are the forms that I've learned in Tang Soo Do. So I'm very geeked out. So when it came to helping our students at Donato Karate Center understand what martial art, people would come to our school and ask, "Hey, what kind of karate do you teach here?" That's one of the questions that comes up, not very, very often, but every once in a while they'll come up, "Hey, what do you teach here?" And I said, "Well, we teach Tang Soo Do, but it also has this system and that system." Basically, it's what I bring to the table as a martial artist, or Master Donato, what we bring to the table as a martial artist. And our base is a Korean martial art called Tang Soo Do. At one time we called it Sobat Do Mudo Kwan, but for various reasons, political reasons, we stopped calling it that, and then we used to call it Tang Soo Do Mudo Kwan, then we dropped the Mudo Kwan and just call it Tang Soo Do. But then I tell Master Donato jokingly that we should just simply call it Donato Karate. What kind of karate you teach? Donato Karate, because the bottom line is that we are a family martial arts school, and we want to let parents know, you guys know, that martial arts is easy, it's simple. Doesn't mean that there aren't challenges there, but we want to make it accessible to everyone. So we changed the way our school looked. and we are changing how we are explaining martial arts now. If you could, like, there's this book here, Martial Arts, and for Tung Tzu, martial art, the illustration manual, martial art of ancient Korea. And so in here, I mean, it's an awesome book if you're a geek, and I'm a geek, and I've been doing this for 48 years, started my journey at 9 years old. But the books here get pretty involved. Now, there's some books out there that are simplified, but I wanted something for our students at Donato Christ, for my community, for anyone around the world that's connected with me, that's interested in martial arts, for yourself, or maybe for your children, because we teach as young as 3.5 years old. If you want to find out about our schedule and our special for students, go to donatokarate.com. But I wanted to put together a book, something simple that I can hand to people, that I can actually pick up and then hand to people, very simple, very easy to read, that they can actually get extreme value out of, but was easy to read, but then it had all the qualities in it that was what I would consider dynamic, at least for me. If I was a parent and I wanted a book, and I have a 3.5-year-old, I have a 6-year-old, and I have a 10-year-old, and maybe I have a teenager as well. Okay, you say martial arts will help me as a parent and help my kids. Okay. I hear you, but help me understand, how does martial arts help me as a parent with my 3.5-year-old? How does that help me, and how does that help my child? So show me. So I figured I'd put together a guide, a book. I could recommend books to you guys there, but I could not find a book that I personally was satisfied with. I mean, they were in-depth books that went deep into the ancient martial arts, and then there were books that were like manuals like this, but then, it was broken down, but I couldn't understand. How could I get parents to understand this? And then, there's the white belt manuals here but it really, had pictures in there, but it really didn't help. I wasn't satisfied with the explanation of it. And of course, and they're all great books. They're great. They're part of my library. These are the ones here. I have a whole bunch up in my attic, but these are the ones that are here in my library. And these books here that are in my office right now are valuable books. And a good friend of mine here, Professor Chris Matakis, awesome books here. I highly recommend these books. The Mastery, the Tao of Jiu-Jitsu and Human, Learning to Live in Modern Times. These are great books, and I just happen to have these from Professor Matakis, who's written 5 books. Pretty awesome. And one of my inspirations here. But I wanted a book that I can give to parents that was easy, and it would guide them through what I teach, why I teach, and the martial arts from my perspective. And my perspective basically is 48 years of journeying through martial arts, and the last 20 years of teaching full-time at Donato Karate Center. I'm a 6th degree master, in Tang Soo Do, under Master Michael Donato, who's training. We're both, it's funny because we're both 6th degree masters, but when you look at my 6th degree belt, it looks all brand new. I got it about 1.5 years ago, but mine is all nice and new, and it's not like I have my old belt down right over there. It's not. It's all brand new. But if you look at Master Donato's 6th degree belt, it's all shredded and gray and raggedy. So I'm a baby 6th degree master, and Master Donato's like my grandfather, with his master 6th degree, and he's working towards his 7th degree. But this is a lifelong journey, and it's pretty awesome. So I wanted to take my experience and my filter, what I've learned teaching and training. 57 years old, and I'm going through now the aging process of my body. And so what can I share with you, the parent, how martial arts can help you? And so this book is for that. So I thought it'd be pretty cool. I want to show you my first draft. I have a first draft of a book, and it's horrible. The title's horrible, and let me go ahead and show that to you. My first draft here, but this is my first draft of my book, and you see there that it's is how, this is the title, it's horrible, how martial arts and having the black belt strong mindset will empower you to be strong on your worst day. And I like the way that says, but it's a long a long title. And but you go through it, and it's, I'll scroll through it really fast. And the chapters, when you look at the chapters, introduction to martial arts, yes, and chapter 1 is choosing martial arts, talking about discipline, martial arts gear, your martial arts sparring. Okay, it's pretty good. It's okay. The titles, the table of contents, okay. But then I'm going through it, and I wrote it. It was boring to write, and it wasn't very enjoyable for me going through this. And I said, okay, blah 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 blah. And then I get to the end, and it's about 60 pages right now. And then I went back and started editing it. I knew I didn't like the title, so I was going through it. And then anyway, I was not happy with this at all, and I left it alone for a little while. I wrote it and edited it, gave it to someone else to help me edit it, and they sent it back to me. I've spent probably a couple of $1,000s on getting this book to where it is right now, but I was just not happy with it. And I came up with a cool cover that I thought was cool, but the cover wasn't going to cut it for me. I wanted the meat in it, and it wasn't dynamic. Yeah, I could put some pictures in it, and I was thinking about putting images in this, but I just was not happy with it. And so I left it alone. I shelved it for a while, and then I started doing what I was doing, is helping, of course, creating my content, going online, doing podcasts, and then I started connecting with higher level performers and thinkers. And there was one of them that really inspired me with his book. He had a book that he wrote a book, and then from that book he created a guide that was basically the book, but in a shorter form. And he told me, he said, Peter, the reason why I did that is because, he said, most people, they'll buy the books, I have all these books, and and this book here, you see there's a little bit, there's markings in it here. So he says most people won't read the book. Statistics show, let me go ahead and get rid of this this image here, right over here. Okay, most people will not read the book. He says, so I decided that, hey, I got the book out there. People are buying it, but they're not reading it. And there's great content in it. So he decided to create a smaller book, a guide of the same book. So I have this book here. And I said, hey, that's a great idea. Instead of, he wrote the book, he printed it, he paid thousands of dollars to put it, to make it available to people. And cool, it started selling, but it wasn't making the impact that he wanted. And he was a great marketer, so he was able to sell, got onto the, to the list, what is it, the Wall Street Journal, whatever list that you get on if you're a writer, if you sell 10,000 books, and great. So basically what he did, he bought the 10,000 books and gave the books away, so that basically put him on the list, as a top writer. But he said that it wasn't until he created the guide that people really started embracing the ideas that he had to share. And that was his goal. His goal was to take what was here, put it into a book form so that people can grab it and then really start beginning their understanding of what he had here, which is what I want. I want parents to understand, the power of martial arts and what I have here, but in a very simple, short, concise, easy way. Make it easy especially for parents. We parents, we're busy. We're working. We're managing our households. We're managing our relationships. We're trying to raise up our children in the way they should go. And yeah, I get it. Martial arts is going to help me with that, but I'm too busy to figure out how and why it makes sense to spend, $200 a month to enroll my child in a program, because I really don't get it. I hear you, and I see people, some testimonials and other parents and families, but I really don't get it. I don't have time to figure it out. So this guide that I have, and let me show you what I did. I took this book, and I didn't print it. I decided not to go through the money to print it and then create the guide. I decided to go right to the guide, and this is what I came up with. Let me go ahead and show you what I have here. Okay, so let me get rid of this other one here, this other book, the first draft. This is what I came up with here. This book here. This is the cover, and black belt strong. I decided to keep that black belt strong because that's my thing, is being black belt strong. I tell the students that, I tell you that. You don't have to be a martial arts to be black belt strong, because black belt represents an idea. So I decided to keep the cover that way, but I knew that it's a guide. So I put on the side over here, black belt strong, quick read of video narrative, with video narratives by me. And so what my buddy told me, what he did was that he wrote the chapters in the book, and there's 21 chapters in this book here. Let me come to the chapters. There's 21 chapters along with resources at the end. So he said he took the chapters of his book and expounded on them, which is what I did. And the other book, let me see on the other book how many chapters I have on the other book. Let me see the other book here. Let's see this, and give me a second there. How many chapters did I have on this other book here? Right all the way up to the top here. How many chapters here? Boom. Good. Actually, let me go ahead and show that to you. How many chapters did I have? Okay, what do we have here? We had 5 chapters. 5 chapters in this book. Okay, and so 5 chapters in that book. But in this book here, in my parents' guide, let me bring that back up here for us. Okay, here we go. So I have 21. And so I brought more chapters in. I went more in depth, but I made it easy. So when you go to let's say Insanely Cool, let's go to the first chapter. First of all, what I also did, and before I go into these chapters, I'm a little bit all over the place here, but really I'm excited about this book because it's easy and the chapters are there. But then look at how it's added graphics, QR codes in there, a powerful QR code. So each chapter, right here, here's the first chapter, very short, very simple, but then there's that QR code that I have on the page that will then take you to a video that I created that reads the chapter to you. So it's an audio and a video, so you can listen to it and hear. But what I like about this is that I actually read the chapter, and it's like, for example, instead of you reading it, I like the idea, and this is what he told me, he loved the idea of people hearing him read what he wrote the way he would like it to be read, if that makes sense. Like, for example, you could read this, and I don't know how you read in your mind. I don't know how animated you are when you read. Some people, I don't know, I think people bore themselves to death when they read to themselves. It's like blah, 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 as opposed to this is how I would like it to read. Hi, my name is Peter Liciaga. I am your Mount Laurel martial arts guy, and I am obsessed with building black belt strong families and empowering them with their children and with martial arts. So it's different. When he showed me that, and I actually purchased his guide, and I saw what he did, I went, oh my gosh, this is great. So this guide here, when you go to the QR codes, and all you do is take your smartphone. If you have an iPhone, you open up your camera, and you put your camera over the QR code, and it will take you directly to the video online. You play the video, and I read this to you how I would like you to hear it. And I saw him do it, and I said, oh my gosh, that's it. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create this guide so that it can be like a virtual guide where it's dynamic, and I read it to you. And I let you hear what I wrote the way I would like it to be heard. And so this is, for me, this is powerful. And the reason why I wrote this is simply I want you guys to really understand the power of martial arts and my passion for martial arts and how it's helped me. And I go through this. If you go back to the chapters here, each chapter takes you a bit of on a journey, and I talk about how insanely cool it is that I do what I do, and that I can get this to you, and everything that I'm doing now in my life, that this is just blows my mind. That I'm a kid that came from the Bronx, and I had no hope, and all of a sudden, as I continue to fight a good fight and learn my lessons and go through my life and journey through all my experiences and take the lessons that I've learned from my own mistakes, mistakes and what people have told me, how they encouraged me, and the dumb things that I did to some of the smarter things, and then the smarter, even more smarter, and the most brilliant things, like like me choosing to take a chance and ask my wife to marry me, and the difference that made in my life, and how we've grown. Now we're going to celebrate 32 years of marriage, and then me taking a chance going into into dance full time, becoming a ballet dancer, all that. And so I go through this, the power of martial arts in my life, and then talking about real lives, and then about my family, and I talk about how my defining moments in my life in chapter 2, the ups and downs that became defining moments of my life, and then my family, and then empowering your child, how martial arts can empower your child, and then talking about the absolute clarity of this one thing that I find, this one thing that I believe that we have clarity on. And then I talk about the power of belief, how if we believe, we help our children believe, that they can accomplish anything, that we can accomplish anything, and how martial arts ties into that. And I talk about martial arts, and then how martial arts creating the way, and what that means if you choose the path of martial arts. Your children, put your children on that path, and then not being dabblers, and not doubters, but being someone that believes and goes all in, that's 100% in, not standing on that fence that many of us, are guilty of, and then raising up a child in the way you should go. I talk about that in chapter 11, raising up that child in the way they should go. And then I talk about, and I share about my failure as a parent, how I failed. Many people now look at me, my relationship, and my kids. They see my daughter. A lot of people have met my daughter now because she's a full-time instructor at Donato Karate Center. Hey, I highly recommend you come in and visit us. If you want to see our schedule, go to donatokarate.com. But you watch my daughter, you're impressed with my daughter. If you met my son, you haven't met him because he's pretty much, he's not training anymore. He's got second-degree black belt, but now he's into his BMX. He's producing music. He's actually, all the music that I'm now using is produced by my son, who's incredible. So I have these kids, and people would look at my family and say, oh my gosh, you're a great dad, you're a great husband, you're awesome. But it wasn't always that way. As a matter of fact, I screwed up so much as a parent, and I share that experience only so that you can understand that there was a learning curve for me, and I totally screwed up. I learned a lesson, and the reason why I'm the dad that I am right now, the husband that I am right now, the teacher that I am right now, the community member that I am right now, is because I've screwed up so much in my life, and I learned the lesson. I talk about that in chapter 12. Chapter 13, I talk about my second chance at parenthood. And then 14, I talk about how, I don't know everything, but I do know this. And I share this with you. I don't know everything, okay, but I know this. My kids would ask me when they were kids, "Your dad, do you know anything? Do you know what? Why is this? Do you know about this? Do you know about that?" And sometimes it's just that I just didn't know. I said, "I don't know that, but I know this." That was one of the things that I would say a lot. Well, sweetie, I don't know that, but I know this. I don't know much about that, but I know this. Like, I know nothing about that, but I know this. So in this chapter, I share, I don't know everything, but this is one thing I do know. And 15, I talk about what some of the dumbest things people say when they find out I do martial arts. And then I talk about, in chapter 15 or 16, I talk about what is martial arts really, what is martial arts, and I go into what martial arts really is, again, from my filter, and I'm talking about 48 years on my journey as a martial artist. Again, in chapter 17, I talk about what I teach, where I teach. I teach at Master Donato School, Donato Karate Center, so I talk about what I teach there. What do I teach at Donato Karate Center? If you were to come to our school, and you saw us teach, what are we teaching? And then I go into why I teach. Why do I teach what I teach? Okay, then I go into talking about how do you find a great martial arts school? What are some key things you can do to search for a martial arts school? Okay, there's a whole bunch in the area. They're there. So how do you find them? And how do you find the great ones? And then I talk about in chapter 19 what makes a great martial arts school. How do you know this is a great martial arts school? Okay, you've done your searching and you've broken it down where, okay, these are a couple of schools in my area that I believe have convinced me They're great schools, great enough where I can follow up. I can maybe visit them. Now, when I do visit them, how do I know they're a great martial arts school? How do I know? And I talk about that. What makes a great martial arts school? I talk about that in chapter 19. And chapter 20, I talk about, how maybe you might want this for your family. I say, gosh, I want that. I see great martial arts schools out there. I see great instructors out there, and I have goals and aspirations, and I have a vision for my family, and I see how martial arts can fit into that. It's exciting. I want that. Now what? What do I do now? What's the next step? And I talk about there. And then I talk about, wrap it up about how empowering your child, empowering your family, and the power of that, and how that will create a legacy for you. And then it continues the legacy through your children. We empower our children, and we are empowered. They are empowered. And then we go out into the universe and set up ripple effects through the world, through time. It's empowering. And then I have a couple of resources at the end, some parenting tips that I have. I think I have about 21, I think 17 or 20. I don't know the number yet, but I have parenting tips that I share with you guys there. So that's one of the resources. I have focusing rules there that I talk about the focusing rules, and I give you guys a sample of that. Of course, these are, you have links to videos through the QR code. Also, we have choosing friends wisely. This is something that I found important for our students. Many of them come to us and they're making bad choices, but they surround themselves with others that make bad choices just like them, so that they really don't know how to choose the right friends. And so I talk about that a bit, and then I also share a couple of kids stories that I created, or I call kids podcasts. I started a couple of stories there. I thought they were entertaining, and I thought that I'd share that with you. And so that's what we have available here. And so I'm excited about this book. That's why I wrote this book. And I hope that makes sense. I just wanted to come on here to share all this with you. If you're interested in getting this book, go to donatokarate.com/parents-guide. It's right here, right there. You see, boom, 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 right there. It's over here, right there. We go. Do, right there. That, right there. That. Okay, I have it in the comments section. Guys, that's the time I have. I got to go. I got to run. I got a lot of things on my plate. I have a benefit that I'm going to later on today. But right before that, I'll be teaching martial arts at Donato Karate Center. Hey, if you want to find out what our schedule is, go ahead and go to donatokarate.com, and we have our schedule there for you. If you're not a student, you would like to find out how to become a student, go to donatokarate.com, and we have the schedule there. We also have a special going on there. And hey, if you want this book and find out, my thoughts on martial arts, this is a guide for parents. If you want to find out about martial arts, it's a guide for you guys. Go to donatokarate.com/parents-guide and get this book. And I give it away for free. It's yours for free. I got a whole bunch here. I ordered a whole bunch right over here. Here we go. Let me put it right over here. A whole bunch of these books right now, right here, for you guys. And let me turn it around here. See, look at this. This is just what's in my hand right now. I have a lot. So I'm giving these away for free simply because I want you guys to have it. I'm proud of it. I'm excited about it. And all you got to do is pay for the postage. I'll mail it right out to you. And even if you're a student, I'll mail it to you guys there. I'm not going to bring these into the school at all, because I'm not going to. I got to spend my time teaching. That's what I'm there to teach. And I know a couple of times I'll stop, but I did the flash drives. Remember those little flash drives that I have for our students with all these forms on it? And I know students bought this, they came in to get that, but I had to stop teaching and it was running around. I don't want to do that because it's not fair for our students who are paying us for me to teach. So what I will do is I will mail it out to you. So a couple of you guys have been waiting on this. I thank you. Some of you bought it last at the end of the year. Pre-ordered these. They are going out today because I got my shipment. So I have a whole bunch of books here that you guys pre-ordered. So I'll send them out to you with a special, for those of you that pre-ordered, I will be giving you guys a special gift. So you'll get a nice little surprise in there along with this guide. Okay, guys, so I appreciate you guys ordering it. If you want to order it, it's free. All you have to do is pay for shipping. Just go to donatokarate.com/parents-guide. The link is right there, and I have right here, and I have it in. There we go, right there, right there. There we go, right there, right there. And I have it in our comment section, and you just click that link, get the book for free. And then I'd love to start hearing your feedback on that book. Okay, guys, I got to go. Have a great day. Be blessed. If I see you later on today on the mats, awesome. Hopefully, some of you guys, I'll see you guys at the benefit. Excellent. My wife is part of this fundraiser for RCBC. I'll be there tonight with that, and I'll share that with you guys another time. Okay, take care. Have a great day.